has a child in the school, if somebody wants to speak on the issue without saying they're a candidate or they should be voted for, I say they should speak. We should not be shutting out people because of a political fight. We should not turn this into a political fight. Our children's lives are too important. I would like to say that today, this morning, the Chancellor made an important announcement. And we are appreciative of the fact that he has acknowledged that he's listened to parents and that he has decided to change the existing lottery system. As a result of that, he is promising that he's going to set up a new procedure which will take place in the fall of 2023. He promises that new procedure will be transparent, that it will listen to the input of parents, and also that it will deal with classroom-related measures. He does not have much other specifics in terms of that new procedure. So while we are thankful to him that he has recognized the problem, we still must be very diligent in finding out and giving him input to make sure we don't end up with a system with a lottery. Now, aside from that, which is good news, which we can be thankful for, although diligent to make sure that this does not turn into an idle promise, the second thing we have is still thousands of children who have been inappropriately assigned to classes in schools which are not appropriate for them. That is not changed by the Chancellor's announcement. I believe we as parents must address those inequities to those children. We as parents must demand that a hotline be set up, that the Department of Education hear the appeals of those parents and be sympathetic to the fact that the current system failed them. Be sympathetic to the fact that the current system resulted in many children, 20%, not getting even one of their 12 choices to a high school. I have a constituent that we are trying to help, and that constituent has a child who has graduated from middle school and now is entering high school. That child is a special ed child who had an IEP when he was in middle school, when he was in grade school. That child has been treated by a psychiatrist for their issues, their emotional problems. One of the problems of that child is they cannot travel on public transportation. So they selected schools that would allow that child to be able to walk to school. The child did not get any one of their choices, and instead that child was assigned to a school which required use of public transportation. The parents spoke to the school officials and they said, get a doctor's note. They went to their psychiatrist who has been treating the child for 4 years, and he wrote a letter verifying the condition of this child and verifying that this child would have anxiety attacks and would not be able to use public transportation. It would not be in the best interest of the child. You know what the Department of Ed said? They said, we don't recognize emotional disturbance problems as qualifying for a medical exemption, and they denied the exemption. They gave them a couple of more choices, again requiring public transportation. That is an example of how this system has failed. It failed to take into consideration the best interest and the needs of a child. It may be an extreme example, but there are thousands of other children who have been placed in schools where they have no interest in the programs of those schools, where they had no choice whatsoever, because their 12 choices were rejected and they were placed in a school they did not choose by a flawed system. Now, we're not going to blame this chancellor. We thank him for recognizing, hearing parents who said there is a problem. But we are also need to address those children who have been put in inappropriate assignments. And that's what we're here today to do. And that is an important goal that we must fight. An important goal that we as parents and children must speak up on. And we cannot let political campaigning, we cannot let political agendas interfere with unifying the parents. It is a shame and a disgrace to divide parents whose children may have been seriously damaged. Let us put our political differences aside. Let us decide, in an election, let the voters decide who should win or not, but we should not be campaigning. Nobody should be speaking as a candidate. They should be speaking in the roles they have played throughout the years. So elected officials are here as elected officials. We are here to speak to the Department of Ed, and we are here to listen to the parents and the community groups that are here. Those who speak as community leaders and parent leaders should speak in that capacity, not addressing elections. It is a shame and a disgrace for anyone to use elections or election politics in order to divide parents and prevent them from fighting for the interest of their children. Our children are too important. So we have a list of speakers. If somebody wants to speak as a candidate, they are not allowed to speak as a candidate. If someone wants to speak as a parent or as a community leader that has been involved in this, and there are many organizations that have done so, they can speak as that in that regard. But they must not address any political campaign or political races. That is got to be a cardinal rule that we follow, because our children are too important. Their needs are too important to end up causing divisions and lack of unity among the parents who are trying to save the life and the education of their children. We stand for children. What do we stand for? Children! Children! What do we stand for? Children! What do we stand for? Children! What do we stand for? Children! That's what this is about. And those people who have a legitimate interest in speaking and ideas and thoughts on children, we want to hear from them. We don't want to turn any of them away. Those who want to discuss political divisions or political mistakes or political campaigns, that this is not the place to do that. The place to do that is going to be on Election Day, November 8th, and that the voters will decide. Parents right here want to talk about and show their support for their children and the best interests of their children, and that's what I intend to do as the co-host of this meeting. All right, Stephen Stow is also a co-host. And then we'll call the elected officials.
Thank you so much, Assemblymember Colton. I just want to thank you and your Chief of Staff, Susan, for pulling this together. It was just a week ago when we started talking about this, and you really listened to the parents in this district. I'm the president of the Community Education Council for District 20. We are the publicly elected parent representatives for families with children in grades K through 8. I want to publicly thank Chancellor Banks and the Department of Education for listening to families on this issue. They've done a great deal to restore trust in the system over the past year. I and many other parents have spent many hours talking with them, meeting with them, asking them to reconsider the policies, the failed policies of the last administration. This access is unprecedented compared to the prior administration, and we need to really appreciate it. The work isn't done. What did we get? We got a better high school screening admission process. We got the choice of middle schools to use academic screens again after being barred from doing that for 2 years. So schools like McKinley, which we're meeting right in front of today, can now start using academic screens again. What we didn't get, and what's very important, state test scores are not being used. All the academic screens will be based on grades. Grades are important, but we all know that grades can vary depending on teacher, depending on school. So we need to push next year to get grades in, or get test scores, state test scores included in the admissions system. The Department of Education has said that they have not ruled that out, by the way. The conversation today, they had a press conference, they have not ruled that out for next year. So it's very much an open issue we can continue to push them on. There is still a lottery in the high school process. It all has to do with supply and demand. If there are more kids applying, even in that more selective top group, if there are still more kids applying for seats at a school, we will still use a lottery. We need to expand the number of seats for academically screened programs at the high school level so we won't need a lottery anymore. What to do next? What to do next? This is very, very important, especially for middle school parents in District 20 and District 21 or wherever you're from. For the next 3 to 4 weeks, superintendents will be reaching out to schools, asking them what they want to do. Do they want to bring back an academically screened program at their school? Superintendents will be talking to school leadership teams, to parent-teacher associations. Parents need to reach out, make their voices heard. This is how democracy works. Now is the chance to do it. The Department of Education has said, we're not going to set policy from the top anymore. We're going to give it back to the districts. Now is our chance to do that. And please, please, parents, in addition to reaching out to the schools, reach out to your CECs, your community education councils. We are not Department of Education. We are parents. We are elected to serve as your representatives, and we will try to hold your interests against the Department of Education. So with that, I just want to say thanks again to everyone for showing up. Thanks again to Assemblymember Colton and all the other elected officials who are here. Really appreciate you being here. And no lottery. No lottery.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we will call the elected officials, and the first elected official who will be called will be Assemblymember Peter Abadi.
Thank you, Bill, and as I said earlier, welcome to the 49th Assembly District, William McKinley Junior High School. It's a good day. It's a start. You know, for the last, 8 years, I've been struggling into so many rallies on education. It's unbelievable. Yesterday, I got a sort of a heads up what the chancellor was going to do today. Enjoy the 49th.
Thank you, Peter. And it's great, you know, I think CEC suggested that the rally be here, and it's a great place to be, and it's a great school with a great tradition. So we're very, you know, feel welcome and happy here, fighting for, what are we fighting for? Children! What are we fighting for? Children! All right, our next elected official, who is been a member of the City Council, who basically has also, you know, been working on education and fighting for children. I'd like to introduce Assemblymember Ari Kagan.
It's okay. Council Member Ari Kagan. Thank you, Assemblyman Bill Colton, for hosting this great event and for your leadership on this issue. For many years, actually, you're fighting for the fair educational process in this city. Listen, we live in America, and the whole point is like equal opportunities for all. Lottery is not an equal opportunity. Lottery is basically a random choice, you know, random. It diminishes the success, it punishes the success. I'm not just council member, I'm a proud father of 2 beautiful children. My son graduated from Gifted and Talented program, from Brooklyn Tech. He passed exams, he studied hard. The whole point is, if you study hard, you have to be admitted to better school, and then to better college, and then to get a better job. That's the whole premise of America. This is the whole point of American dream. If you work hard, you achieve your American dream. Lottery is basically whatever you do doesn't matter. If you study hard but do not win in the lottery, you ended up not in the best school. You could end up in a bad school. By the way, we need to work hard to make sure that there are less bad or not so good performing schools. That's the whole point. Again, no to lottery, yes to merit. No to lottery, yes to merit. Hard work should be praised, encouraged. You know, like, they all need to do everything possible so children who are studying, going to libraries, and making sure they're doing their homework after school programs, that they are like going in the better schools and having better future. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. We're punishing children who are working hard. We're saying, whatever you do doesn't matter. It's still lottery, you know, like it's a lottery. The whole premise of lottery is absurd, because lottery again diminishes the hard work. And as a person who works very hard myself, I believe that's again against American dream. So if we support American dream, if we support the whole point of America, where success is good, yes, success is good, hard work is a road to success, then we need to abolish the lottery and to make sure to return to, again, great gifted and talented programs, screening, tests, etc. Is it difficult to have good grade on test? Yes, but that's the whole point. Thank you so much for being here. I'm a big supporter of screening for middle schools, high schools, of gifted and talented programs. We need to create more opportunities, more better schools, more specialized schools, more gifted and talented programs for everybody. Not just lottery, okay, whatever you're doing doesn't matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilman Harry Kagan. What are we here to talk about? Children! What are we here to talk about? Children! Thank you, Councilman Kagan. We have also Councilman Kalman Yeager is going to try to be here. He had a conflict in schedule, but he said he supports parents, he supports children, and he's going to make it his best effort to get here. He may get here later. If he does, we'll let him speak. All right, we have two representatives from elected officials. The first one who is here is representing Councilwoman Ina Vernikoff, who has also expressed her support. She wanted to be here, but unfortunately she had a scheduling conflict, so she sent her representative, staff member, Chung Dick.
Thank you, Assemblyman. Okay, I'm here representing Councilwoman Ina Vernikoff. Unfortunately, she has a scheduled conflict with at City Hall, so she cannot be here. First of all, she would like to send this appreciation to Assemblyman William Colton, right, for organizing this event. And also, we are here today to fight for our children. The Councilwoman has been fighting for parents and children since she's in the office. And she has been asking the Department of Education and Chancellor Banks to reinstate the fair admission process based on the merit. And in the City Council, she has been working with the fellow council member from the Republican side, as well as she reached out to the across the aisle, including Council Member Harry Kagan and also Kalman Yeager, right? And on September 15, we have a joint letter that's sent to Chancellor Bank, including members from both parties. So the education should not be a political issue. It should be a bipartisan issue because we care about our children, and we as a parent, this is what we're fighting for. The outcome of the lottery admission, right, is profoundly unfair for students of all ethnicity and socioeconomic backgrounds. So this is the reason why she has been fighting, because we all believe in American dream and we stand for American value, right? We do not believe that the phrase that merit does not matter. This is what we are fighting against. And her office has been received so many angry calls from parents and constituents about this unfair admission process. And as a consequence, this lottery system will create into two situations. On one end, will be discouraged for students who cannot keep up with the schoolwork, and on the other hand, for high proficient students, they will be bored in school and also drop off from the education system. And unfortunately, parents left with no options but to choose to send their kids to a private school, or even they leave New York City or New York State. This is not what we want.